Imagine this: a speeding train with a bomb on board, a city overrun by raging zombies, and a world where a single drop of clean water could cost you your life. These aren't scenes from one movie, they're real 2025 premieres. Some you can watch right now, others are still on the way, and each could become the hit everyone will be talking about. And at the very end, I've got something that will surprise you, a film no one will see coming. Its premiere is planned for 2026, but I just had to share it with you. Zombie Repellent. In Zombie Repellent, the engagement was supposed to be the beginning of a fairy tale and became a one-way ticket to the most twisted town in the history of zombie cinema. The car breaks down in the complete middle of nowhere, and the locals seem too nice from the first moment. It quickly turns out that this kindness comes at a price. For a century, they have been hiding a secret that keeps the dead away from their doors. Instead of a brutal slaughter, we get a grotesque dance of horror and absurdity, with bizarre rituals, gossip whispered over a cup of tea, and an atmosphere where you never know if the next smile will be friendly or fatal. It's a combination of horror and black comedy that escapes all schemes. War of the Worlds. Imagine the end of the world coming through your screen. In War of the Worlds, aliens attack, but instead of a traditional war, we see everything through cameras, video calls, and data stolen from servers. Ice Cube, as a government agent, controls every move of citizens until suddenly meteorites fall on Earth, and the hunt for our technology begins. Giant alien machines suck the energy out of data centers, and the secret project Goliath turns out to be a death trap for humanity. The key to rescue? The agent's son, a brilliant hacker who knows a way to destroy the invaders. But the price could be huge. This is a story about a race against time, digital sabotage, and the question no one wants to ask: are the aliens our greatest enemy? Or is it the technology we created ourselves? You'll know the answer only in the finale. My daughter is a zombie. My daughter is a zombie begins with a scene that breaks all horror movie rules. Teenager Sue A returns from a party, but not alone. There is no longer a human in her gaze. There is the hunger and emptiness of a zombie. Most people would flee in panic, but her father does something completely different. Instead of a gun, he extends his hand. Lee Jung-hwan knows that his daughter can no longer be saved, but she can be taught to live in a new way. He takes her to her grandmother's, and there begins an unusual training. Instead of hunting, Sue-ah learns to dance, to react to her father's voice, to recall gestures from the old days. This is a film that can make you laugh at one moment and break your heart at the next. Horror mixes with comedy and emotion, and zombies cease to be monsters. They become part of the family. The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon Season 3. Daryl Dixon and Carol Pelletier are back, and this time they face the undead in the heart of Spain. From the wild, misty forests of Galicia to the dark alleys of Madrid to the hot streets of Barcelona, every step is a fight for life and a chance to return home. But the road home is never straight. In Season 3, the atmosphere is thicker than ever. Betrayals, unexpected allies, and enemies that can be more dangerous than zombies. There are new faces in the cast who bring fresh energy and unpredictable relationships. It's a journey in which the boundaries between friends and enemies blur faster than you can reload your gun. One thing is certain: Season 3 is the prologue to the grand finale, and the return of Daryl and Carol in this installment may be the most intense ride in the series' history. Operation Undead. World War II, Thai recruits sent to the front are convinced that an ordinary battle awaits them, but when enemies suddenly start rising from the dead, the war changes the rules. Operation Undead is the story of a clash where bullets are not enough and the enemy may remember your name. In the middle of the jungle, a mysterious virus is out of control. Soldiers, both Thai and Japanese, must decide if they will kill each other or stand shoulder to shoulder against something they have never seen before. These zombies are not mindless. They look you in the eye, sometimes they talk, Sometimes they remind you of who they were. This is not a typical zombie movie. It is a story of honor, brotherhood, and fear that does not end with your last breath. Operation Undead shows that the real nightmare begins when your enemy still has a heart. Ziam, Bangkok in ruins, the streets shrouded in smoke, and the silence is broken only by the roar of approaching zombies. In the middle of this hell, Singh, a former Muay Thai champion, faces the toughest fight of his life. There is no arena, no judges, only the claustrophobic corridors of the hospital, the beloved he must find, and the child he will not let lose. The virus is tearing the city apart from the inside, and every turn can hide another wave of monsters. Here, firearms are a rarity, so Singh relies on what he has most valuable: lightning-fast punches and an iron will. Ziam is no ordinary zombie movie. It's breath on the run, sweat on the forehead, and a fight to the last second, in which love becomes a weapon, and each blow is a step closer to salvation. The Forest. The post-nuclear apocalypse world is plunged into a silence that kills faster than guns. Heinrich travels through a boundless forest where any rustling can mean death. Alone, exhausted, and ready for anything, he comes across a mysterious woman named M. Silent, but her gaze reveals that she harbors a power that others crave and fear. When a brutal gang falls on their trail, the forest turns into a maze of traps, and every step could be the last. The Forest is a story of survival, in which the beauty of nature mixes with terror, and trust becomes the only currency in a world without law. It's a story about how even in the silence you can hear hope, if only you have the courage to go on. Bullet train explosion, a speeding Shinkansen, night, and a ticking bomb on board. If the speed drops below 100 kilometers per h, everyone dies. Bullet Train Explosion is a remake of a classic from the 1970s, but dressed in contemporary pace and nerve of the 21st century. The film wastes no time with long introductions. From the first minutes, we are thrown into the middle of the crisis, in which the engineers, and ordinary passengers become the last line of defense. The filmmakers neatly combine practical effects, miniatures, and CGI, and every scene is like a countdown to detonation. It's a cinema about cooperation, sacrifice, and Japanese determination. But it's also a lesson that you don't need fireworks to build tension, just a train, a bomb, and great editing. Bullet Train Explosion is a thriller that draws you in, keeps you hooked until the final seconds, and proves that sometimes a classic can be refreshed with respect and energy. Red Plague. Red Plague is a post-apocalyptic drama in which a lonely man, living in a desert shelter cut off from the world after a virus killed his family, faces an unexpected choice. A little girl arrives at his door, pursued and defenseless. From now on, every step becomes risky, and decisions can cost lives. The film wastes no time on unnecessary plots. From the beginning, it builds tension, showing the brutality of the post-epidemic world and juxtaposing it with the fragile bond that develops between strangers. Strong cinematography, raw atmosphere, and focus on emotions make Red Plague stand out in the genre. This is not a story about saving the world. It's a story about whether you can save yourself by helping someone else. When I'm ready, desert highways, desolate towns, and the constant feeling that the clock is counting down the last hours of humanity. In such a world, Rose and Michael embark on a journey that is more than an escape. They look for a safe place, but along the way they discover stories of people who, despite the coming end, are still trying to live, love, and remember who they are. A former beauty queen they meet clings to her former glory. A bum in a bar hides her fear behind jokes, and every conversation reveals another layer of human frailty. This is cinema that relies on atmosphere instead of special effects. The golden light of sunsets contrasts with the overwhelming realization that there may be no tomorrow. For some, it will be too slow-paced, but if you can appreciate quiet stories about people facing the inevitable, this journey may stay in your memory for a long time. Free Fall. In Free Fall, claustrophobia meets the boundless expanse of space. A proton storm damages the Delta orbital station, and one of the mechanics is trapped in a cut-off module with limited oxygen and a damaged suit. The only thing that keeps him alive is the voice of a mysterious woman on the other side of communications. The film doesn't go for spectacular sci-fi. Instead of special effects, we get raw realism, where every breath in the helmet and every crackle in the headphones heightens the tension. The cinematography is cold, industrial, and the editing allows you to feel the passage of time and the growing fatigue of the protagonist. Critics praise the minimalist approach and the dense atmosphere. It's a thriller in which not only lives are at stake, but also the answer to the question of whether one can trust a voice one will never see. Before I reveal the final production I mentioned at the start, one that will definitely surprise you, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Trust me, it's worth it if you want to stay up to date with the best zombie, post-apocalyptic, and disaster premieres, plus the surprises I've got planned for you. Cold storage. An abandoned military base, 2 night shift warehouse workers, and an unexpected incident that unleashes something that should never see the light of day, a parasitic fungus capable of turning people into grotesque, blood-soaked monsters. From that moment on, a desperate race against time begins, where not only the lives of the protagonists, but also the fate of all humanity hang in the balance. Enter a former biological weapons agent who knows far more about the threat than anyone wants to hear. Director Johnny Campbell and screenwriter David Koepp deliver a twisted cocktail of black humor, gore, and over-the-top absurdity, perfectly balancing horror and parody. The practical effects are striking, while the sharp dialogue and relentless pacing keep you hooked from the very first scene to the final frame. It's a wild, no-holds-barred ride for viewers who enjoy blood and laughter served in equal measure.